Welcome to day 2 here at InterNepCon in Japan. We're looking forward to seeing a lot more new equipment, especially over in the InterNepcon side among the test companies today. And later in the day we're going to be going back across to RoboDex and the Wearables Expo. But for now we're going to be heading into the InterNepcon halls, which are just along here. That's TRI, that's a Taiwanese company, very well known in the industry. We've got some great inspection technology, but now been able to do inspection down to 1 micron, which is really quite incredible. And offering 2 different types of inspection in the new 3D systems. You can either use laser technology for highly reflective devices and components, or you can use traditional camera-based technology, which captures everything in one go rather than doing sequential images. So a couple of new things there from TRI. There's another example of a wonderful technology coming out of a Japanese company. They're doing really fantastic profiles. They're actually able to print silver paste up to about 30 microns, which is pretty high, on a single pass without having to use step stencils. They do sell in Europe and the United States, but mostly through R&D companies, and they never go to exhibitions. So I've been in this industry a long time. It's great when you find little things like this. So here's a company called Alpha Design. They're making conformal coating applicators. A company that's making conformal coating, but they're selling again in Asia and moving into South America. But once again, not really concentrating on the European or the American market. So there's Toshiba. It's a household name. Everybody knows Toshiba, of course, but not very many people knew that Toshiba made X-ray equipment. Once again, another example of a company that is manufacturing here in Japan and selling into China, Greater Asia, Indonesia, and the one exception here is they sell into Mexico. But they avoid going into the US and Europe at the moment because there's too much competition, I guess. But interesting to know that Toshiba makes X-ray equipment. So obviously this is Chinese company that's grown up to provide customized solutions for factory automation, which is becoming a bigger thing. So they try and reduce the amount of labor on the factory floor and automate as much as possible. So these things are coming up fast, they're growing all over the place. That's a company that I hadn't heard of before, but they're obviously already quite popular in Europe and the United States.
Yeah, so the basic components of the paste in our heaters uses a combination of conductive silver inks, carbons, and dielectric layers. And the innovation that we've achieved within Texar is to make those materials flexible, stretchable, bendable, so they can be used in form factors like apparel.
Now this company here, Mitsui Chemical, has got a team of, if you can see behind me, basically lab technicians. And they're working on different materials to embed into wearable tech. They've developed a reflective adhesive polymer that's going to be used in heads-up displays or these types of applications. So it's much more lightweight. One of the problems you get with heads-up displays for augmented reality is that they tend to be big and bulky. This is one material that's going to help to reduce the weight and make these things a lot more easy to use and work with. Of course, at Wearable Tech, we're going to have everybody here, including the big boys. This is Fitbit, which everybody knows, and the big thing they're pushing this week is 7-day battery life on their watches. They're obviously getting involved more in the health side as well, health monitoring, and the applications are expanding when you Bluetooth it to your phone or Bluetooth it to a wireless headset or other devices. So it's becoming a much more capable device. When it first started, it was fairly limited, but it's now really opening up to quite a capable tool. So let's move on and see what else we've got. We're going to move into the RoboDex side of the exhibition now. and catch up with some of the other companies that we know from the electronics manufacturing business. I mean, look at the size of that thing. The Otto, we call it. It takes very large pallets which are on rollers for large industrial applications. A lot of companies in our industry are using Omron at the moment, but there's a lot of different manufacturers out there, loads of them. So you need to shop around. So we're moving now back round into the robotics side, and we're going to come upon a company that we all know, and that's Vitrox. So again, it's coming back to the theory that I said yesterday, where companies are looking at the wider picture. They're trying to attract customers that they're normally used to dealing with, but showing their wider capability. In this case, Vitrox obviously is capable of inspecting lots of industrial parts and other types of electronics using the technologies that we know very well from their AOI systems. So let's move on just around the corner here, because we're going to see the Juki booth and of course the sewing machines that they're showing alongside their pick and place equipment. Here's the Japanese version, I think it is, of the Boston Dynamics dog. It's very versatile. Look at it. The Cargo, it's called. Is our next dog going to be a Yorkshire Terrier, or is it going to be one of these? Thank you very much. Thank you. Hi, so here we are at the Yamaha robotics booth over in RoboDex, and of course we're looking at some drones. Now, drone technology is getting used in all sorts of things, and we've been talking about it for parcel delivery, etc., and for using the media, of course, for filming. But we're looking here at industrial applications, in fact agricultural applications, and look at the size of these drones. This system here is a massive drone which is getting used for spraying fields and that type of thing, for pesticides and that these types of applications. And that's only a small one. Take a walk down here and look at this. It's like a mini helicopter. It's incredible. It's called the Phaser R, and you can see at the side of it, it's got these huge tanks, 16-gallon tanks that are strapped to either side of it that can basically spray large areas. So who needs a tractor? You've got a drone. One of the reasons that we come to these shows and is to show you some of the things that are happening in Japan that we don't see in other parts of the world. For example, before we came here this week, we didn't know that Toshiba made X-ray equipment, and we didn't know that Nulong made high-end stencil printers. So we're coming to the end of today's programming, and we're going to start looking towards next year, where you can see on the board behind me that they're going to be splitting the show into two parts. In January next year, we're going to have the Automotive World, NEPCON Japan, and all the electronics shows back here in Tokyo Big Sight. But the Robotex show and the other Smart Factory show is going to move to February. So they're splitting both events up. Now that could be because next year, of course, Tokyo is hosting the Olympics. And this is actually going to be the site where the global media are going to be located to cover the Olympics. So that's it from Japan for this year. We hope you enjoyed our programming. We hope you like the new format we've been using, and we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks in San Diego.